My moms went on 3 international trips last year. First class to Hawaii, first class to Peru, first class to China. Meanwhile, I was selling my plasma twice a week to afford groceries. Same year, same parents. So when my sisters finally asked, at a family dinner in front of everyone, why I dropped out of university, I made a decision. I was done protecting people who never protected me. This is what happened when I finally told the truth, and why I'm still not sure if I'd do it differently. I'm 21, and I want to start by saying I know how this sounds. Young guy, parents who aren't handing him everything, crying about it online. I've heard that version too. But let me tell you what the last 3 years actually looked like. When I was around 16, my parents retired. Both of them. One had a genuine reason. The other, as far as I could tell, just didn't want to work anymore. And that was that. By the time I was finishing high school, the financial support that I'd always assumed was just there, the kind of baseline that parents provide, started quietly disappearing. Dental coverage? Gone. Medical insurance dropped to the lowest possible tier, with me picking up the costs. Car insurance? Same. The assumption being, I suppose, that I was old enough now, that I could figure it out. I tried to figure it out. I enrolled in university. I had this vague idea that there was a college fund somewhere, something set aside, the way parents set things aside. My mom had actually taken $200 from my bank account a few years back and put it into a high-yield savings account. It had grown to $270. That was my college fund. I couldn't make it work. Working part-time, scraping together what I could, I lasted as long as I could before I had to drop out and transfer to community college. Which is fine. Community college is genuinely fine. But I was working full-time alongside it, donating plasma twice a week to keep myself fed, trying to piece together something that looked like a future. And during all of this, my parents were retired, comfortable, planning trips. I want to be careful here because I know how this sounds. I'm not saying parents owe their children luxury. I'm not saying they have to fund everything forever. But first-class flights to 3 countries in a single year, while telling your son you're on a tight budget, that lands differently. That lands like a message. It's our turn now. That's actually what they said, those exact words. It's our turn now. I have 3 sisters. 2 are 30, 1 is 40. We're not especially close. Different ages, different lives, different versions of the same parents, I suppose. None of them really knew what had been happening with me. I think they assumed, the way families assume things, that my experience had been roughly like theirs, that things were fine, that I was taken care of, the way they had been. And that's where everything fell apart. At a family gathering, my sisters asked how university was going. Casual question, dinner table conversation, the kind of thing you ask someone you don't see enough. I told them I'd dropped out. That community college was fine, but hard, given that I was working full-time to pay for everything myself. My oldest sister looked confused. She turned to my parents and asked why they hadn't helped. My parents deflected. Tight budget, tight schedule, you know how it is. And I, trying to smooth it over, the way I always do, said something like, "You guys didn't get a college fund either, right? So it's not really new." Wrong. It was completely, entirely wrong. My two younger sisters, my parents had matched every dollar they saved for college. Dollar for dollar. My oldest sister had support from her father from my mom's first marriage. They all had something. They all had been helped. And my parents had never mentioned any of this to them, because my sisters had never asked, and my parents had never volunteered it. So for years, my sisters had simply assumed I was fine, that I was getting what they got. I wasn't. I don't know exactly what happened in me in that moment. Something that had been compressed for a very long time just gave. I started talking, and I didn't stop. I told my sisters everything. The dropping out, the plasma donations, the full-time work alongside a full-time course load, the insurance situation, the college fund that was $270 in a savings account. I told them about the trips, Hawaii, Peru, China, first class, while I was selling blood products to buy food. And then, and this is the part I've thought about most since, I brought up my girlfriend's family. My girlfriend is 20. We've been together 2 years. For the past stretch of that, I've been living with her and her family. Her family. People who have no obligation to me whatsoever, no biological tie, no history, have done more for my future than my own parents. They've set up an actual house for us. They've treated me like I belong somewhere. I said all of that out loud, at the dinner table, in front of everyone. My sisters were upset with my parents. My parents were furious with me. The word my mom kept using was villain, that I had painted them as villains. But I hadn't written the story. I had just read it out loud for the first time. After that night, things moved fast. My parents, suddenly, remarkably, found resources they hadn't had before. They offered to pay off my car, to help with a home loan, to fix, retroactively, some portion of what had gone unfixed for years. I said no, to all of it. I know that sounds like spite. It probably is spite, at least partly. But here's the thing about accepting help from someone only after you've embarrassed them into offering it. It doesn't feel like help. It feels like damage control. It feels like they're managing the situation, not actually seeing you. And I've had enough of being a situation to be managed. The rest of my extended family thinks I was wrong, that I aired dirty laundry, that I caused drama to get back at my parents, that I acted like a spoiled brat who didn't get what he wanted. Maybe. But also, maybe the dirty laundry was already there. Maybe I just finally stopped being the only one doing the washing. There's one thing I do regret. My girlfriend asked me afterward why I'd brought her family into it. Because now my parents are even more against her than they were before. She supported me, she still does, but she didn't sign up to be a weapon in someone else's family war. She was right to say something. She has been more of a family to me than my own family, and the least I could do was protect her from the fallout of saying so. Here's where I keep landing when I think about all of this. There's a version of family that's biological, the people who are there because they have to be, because a name connects you, or a house, or a history. And there's a version of family that's chosen, the people who show up, not because the blood runs the same way, but because they decided to. I know which kind I've been living with for the past 2 years, and I think somewhere in that dinner, in that moment where I finally said everything out loud, I was just trying to make everyone else see what I'd already known for a long time. Some families raise you, and some families find you. Tell me what you think in the comments. Was I out of line? Or was the truth just overdue? I'll be reading.